I'm Matt Williamson. How's it going? It's snowy out there. Getting into December. Rubber's hitting the road here, and things are not looking great for your Pittsburgh Steelers. I have a lot of general stuff to discuss today. Some of it's Ravens related to prime you a little bit for that game. It's a crucial game. I mean, I don't like where the Steelers are at in terms of what they're putting out on film, but all in all, they still have, I know the odds will tell you differently, but basically a 50% chance of winning the division in turn. I mean, if either one of these teams sweeps the other, that's clearly going to be enough to win the division, in my opinion. Now, what I will say is the remaining games for both teams that aren't against each other favor the Steelers. Now, neither team's playing great. I think Baltimore's playing better than the Steelers. I think Baltimore is better than the Steelers. And a lot of stuff I'm going to tell you today will probably make you even feel worse about your favorite team. It's not my intentions, but it's just stuff I've dug up lately, and it's disheartening. Start with this. We know that the NFL plays a 17-game schedule. And this isn't how the world works in terms of records, but in the last 17 games, the Steelers are 6-11. That includes the playoff loss to Baltimore, which was a game that was as embarrassing, if not more so, than the Bills that you just lost to. But in those 17 games, the Steelers have been outgained by 1,672 yards over 17 games. Basically, the average Steeler game over the course of what is an NFL season, I know I'm kind of stretching this, they get outgained by like 100 yards a game. That's the worst in the NFL over the last 17 games. I mean, the Browns, the Titans, the Giants, these teams that don't win any games any year, the Jets. Steelers have been outgained over the last 17 games worse than all of them. Pretty brutal. Now, the Steelers have also led in all 6 of their losses this season. 6 losses in a game that they've led is only behind the Giants, the Browns, and the Titans for most in the NFL. I mean, any sentence that is including the Browns, Giants, and Titans is not good. So what else we got here? Oh, some Lamar stuff I think is pretty interesting. And we talked about this last week with Josh Allen. But he has a career regular season record of 22-4 as a starter in December or January. That's regular season. I know he has a losing record in the postseason. Regular season, he's 22-4 after November, December or January. And we had mentioned this with Allen. He's 20-5 after a loss. That's the best of any quarterback since 1970. Allen and Mahomes are right behind him. That's who we mentioned before. But after a loss, Lamar is 20-5.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so you can join in on all the action.
Okay, here's some other big picture stuff that's disconcerting. But since 2019, the Steelers are 3-30-1 when they lose the turnover battle. That's a batting average of .103. That's only better than the Giants and the Bears. So if they lose the turnover battle, they basically have a batting average of about 100, 1 out of 10, which is a smidge better than the Giants, a smidge better than the Bears. Since 2007, the Steelers rank 5th in turnover differential. So they're plus 50. That's great. In that time span, they've been the top 10 in turnover differential, 8 out of 19 seasons, and then the top 5 of 19 seasons. So yes, it's terrible when they lose the turnover battle, but they are quite good at that department, and they have been for a very long time. Where else? Here's another one here. The Ravens' opponents punt on 0.9% or 0.29 of their drives, and the Steelers punt on 0.30. That is 28th and 26th, respectively. Not great. These teams do not cause punts. Another thing that won't shock you about the Steelers, but is also true with the Ravens offense averages 5.65 plays per drive. The Steelers average 5.8. That's 28th and 26th, respectively, as well. So these teams are just not holding the football and having long drives. The Steelers have the 4th worst yards per drive differential. How many yards per drive do you allow? How many do you produce? So that differential is 4th worst. And 5th worst, 3 and outs per drive differential. Again, that's offensive 3 and outs minus defensive 3 and outs. Steelers opponents have produced 39 more explosive plays than the Steelers and 26 more explosive passes. Again, this is differential stuff. I mean, this is not, this is what you're giving up compared to what you're producing. And along those lines, the Steelers opponents have produced 64 more first downs. They've run 153 more plays. That's well over 2 games. That's like 2.5 games, maybe 3 games worth of plays that the defense has had to run more than the offense. And they average just under 89 yards per game more than the Steelers. The Ravens opponents have thrown for 617 more yards than Baltimore. So that's sort of, something along the lines that you can be excited about for the Steelers. No defense has played more snaps than Pittsburgh's, and no offense has played fewer snaps than Pittsburgh's. I mean, it's an awful way to try to win. Yeah, it just really is. Red zone defense, Baltimore's is 6th best. Steelers is 10th best. Steelers offense is 5th best, while Baltimore's red zone offense is 30th. That's shocking to me too. Now, last couple things here. So the Steelers have opened the second half with the football, where the teams kick off to you after the half. That's happened 6 times this year. The results on those 6 drives are 4 punts, an interception, and last week, a sack and fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Brutal. You should be excited coming out of the half. I get the ball, often with the lead. And every one of those drives has gone poorly. So we know they were outscored by 13 points in the third quarter last week. Baltimore leads the NFL by producing 7.7 points on average in the third quarter, where Pittsburgh produces just 2.8. That's only better than 3 teams. So again, Baltimore's best in the third quarter offense. Steelers are 4th worst. However, the Ravens do give up 5.9 points in the third quarter, which is only better than 5 teams. But Steelers are also giving up 10.4 points on average in the fourth quarter, which is only better than the Giants. Now, the Steelers, this might shock you, they do score a lot in the fourth quarter. 7.9 points on average in the fourth quarter, 9th most. But that being said, if you just look at the second half and overtime of games, the Steelers' point differential is minus 49. That's 27th. and it's the worst of any team that currently has 6 or more wins. There's a lot of big picture stuff there that it just isn't pretty. And I'm not trying to bring you down. Steelers are still 6-6. They could beat the Ravens this week and be in sole control of the AFC North. That is a possibility. But there's some big picture stuff here that is hard to ignore. All right, everyone, take care.